From the earliest days of human life, communities needed a way to exchange the products they created, the tools they crafted, and the food they harvested. Long before metal coins, banknotes, or digital balances existed, people traded what they had with what they needed. This system of direct exchange shaped the foundations of social cooperation, but it soon revealed its limitations as settlements grew, relations expanded, and needs diversified. The story of money begins not with wealth, but with the desire to solve simple, everyday problems. In the earliest human communities, barter was the primary method of exchange. A person who hunted animals might trade meat for grain, clothing, or tools. A family who grew crops could exchange part of their harvest for pottery, livestock, or labor. But barter required both sides to want exactly what the other offered at the same moment. This situation made trade inefficient. People needed a system that allowed value to be stored, measured, and transferred more easily. Over time, the search for a more practical method transformed objects, symbols, and eventually numbers into tools for managing value. As societies advanced, people began to prefer certain items because they were durable, easy to carry, and widely accepted. Seashells, precious stones, salt blocks, grain, and even large carved stones served as early forms of money. These items carried a value agreed upon by the community. They solved some of the problems of barter, but more complex societies needed something standardized, something that could be weighed, measured, and trusted across larger regions. This demand led to the creation of metal money. Communities discovered that certain metals, especially those rare enough to be valuable, yet common enough to be accessible, were ideal for representing wealth. Metal objects were durable and could be weighed or shaped in consistent forms. People began using pieces of copper, silver, and gold for trade. Over time, rulers, kings, and leaders realized that money carried political power as well as economic significance. By stamping metal pieces with official seals, they guaranteed weight, purity, and authenticity. Thus, coins emerged, becoming one of the most influential inventions in human history. Coins made trade faster, safer, and more reliable. For the first time, value could be measured precisely. The mark of a ruler on a coin was not only a guarantee of value, but also a symbol of authority. Through coins, the power of states spread into markets, cities, and even distant lands. Empires used their coins as tools of unity, identity, and control. Every time a coin changed hands, it carried the image and message of the authority that issued it. As trade routes expanded across continents, coins traveled from one region to another, connecting cultures and economies. Markets grew, merchants accumulated wealth, and cities flourished. But as commerce continued to expand, carrying large amounts of metal became difficult and risky. People needed a lighter, safer way to transfer value. This need laid the foundation for the next major transformation in the story of money. The invention of paper money represented one of the most significant breakthroughs in economic history. Early forms of paper money began as promissory notes or certificates guaranteed by rulers or temples. These documents declared that the bearer was entitled to receive a certain amount of metal stored in a treasury. Over time, such notes came to be used as money themselves. They were lighter than metal, easier to carry, and easier to produce in large quantities. As states grew stronger and administrative systems became more sophisticated, rulers began printing standardized banknotes. These notes were designed not only to simplify trade, but also to strengthen central authority. The spread of paper money changed economies fundamentally. Trade accelerated, markets expanded, and people began to trust written promises backed by state power. With the rise of banking institutions, money evolved further. Banks began issuing their own notes, managing deposits, and facilitating long-distance trade through letters of credit. The concept of storing money in a safe place and using written documents instead of physical metal created entirely new possibilities. Wealth could now move faster than goods. Banks became centers of economic life, influencing trade, investment, and even political decisions. Over the centuries, the value of money became increasingly tied not to the amount of metal it represented, but to the trust people placed in the institutions issuing it. This shift marked the beginning of a modern economic systems. States, realizing the importance of controlling money, began regulating banking, standardizing currency, and managing national monetary policies. Money became both a tool of stability and a reflection of political power. Technological advances continued reshaping how money worked. Machines capable of printing secure banknotes allowed uniformity and protection against counterfeiting. New materials, designs, and security features transformed banknotes into highly sophisticated instruments. At the same time, coins evolved into lighter, more practical forms. Different metals and alloys replaced gold and silver, which became too valuable for daily transactions. The 20th century brought about monumental changes. As economies became interconnected and global trade intensified, money gradually separated from physical value altogether. Most currencies stopped being tied to precious metals. Instead, they became what economists call fiat money, money whose value comes from the trust placed in the government that issues it. This idea reshaped global financial systems. Central banks gained immense influence, managing interest rates, regulating money supply, and guiding economic growth. But the transformation did not stop there. With the rise of computers, money took yet another leap. Digital banking replaced paper records. Balances, payments, and transfers became electronic rather than physical. People could send value through signals, numbers, and networks. Money now moved at the speed of information. As online commerce grew, new forms of digital payment systems emerged. Credit cards, debit cards, online banking, and electronic wallets changed everyday life. A single device could store an entire financial identity. Transactions became faster, safer, and accessible from anywhere in the world. In recent decades, innovations such as mobile payments, contactless cards, and biometric authentication continued shaping the future of money. People began using fingerprints, facial recognition, and personal devices to authorize transactions. At the same time, entirely new digital assets appeared. Cryptocurrencies, based on decentralized blockchain technology, introduced a radical idea: money without a central authority. These digital currencies, created and managed through mathematical algorithms, challenged traditional financial systems and sparked global debate about the future of value. Today, the concept of money extends far beyond physical objects. Money is data, trust, and agreement. It can appear on a screen, move across continents in seconds, and exist purely as digital information. Yet its purpose remains the same as in the earliest days of human communities: to facilitate exchange, measure value, and store wealth. The story of money is, in many ways, the story of human civilization. Every step in its evolution reflects changes in society, technology, and collective belief. From seashells used by early communities to carefully stamped metal coins, to handwritten notes guaranteed by rulers, to printed banknotes protected by intricate designs, to digital codes secured by cryptography, money has always adapted to the needs of the time. This journey reveals how deeply money is shaped by trust. Trust in objects, trust in systems, trust in institutions, and trust in the shared belief that what we use today will still hold value tomorrow. Without trust, even the most beautifully crafted coin becomes meaningless. With trust, even a simple piece of paper becomes powerful. Today, as the world continues to change at an unprecedented pace, money evolves with it. Artificial intelligence, blockchain networks, and digital identities are creating new forms of economic interaction. In some places, physical cash is disappearing, replaced entirely by electronic systems. In others, traditional coins and banknotes remain essential parts of daily life. The future will likely bring forms of money that blend technology and tradition in ways we cannot fully predict. Yet despite all these transformations, one truth remains constant. Money is a human invention, shaped by our needs, guided by our creativity, and defined by our shared values. The story of money is not simply about economics, but about the connections that bind societies together. It is a reflection of cooperation, innovation, and the enduring human desire to build a better way of life. As we look back across thousands of years, from the earliest traded objects to the digital currencies of today, we see not just the evolution of money, but the evolution of humanity itself. Each form of money carries the imprint of its time, revealing how people lived, what they valued, and how they built relationships across communities and civilizations. Money is more than a tool, it is a silent witness to the ambitions, struggles, and triumphs of countless generations. The journey of money continues, shaped by new technologies, new ideas, and new forms of trust. Just as early people once transitioned from barter to shells, from shells to metal, and from metal to paper, humanity now stands on the edge of another transformation. The future of money is still being written. What remains certain is that whatever form it takes, it will continue to carry the story of who we are and who we strive to become.